Okay, just gonna make this quick video. But anyways, this is going to be a review of Wednesday evening's price analysis for today, Thursday, the 29th of January's morning AM session trade. So just break this down real quick. Um, Again, like always, on all assets on the daily time frame, I'm going to start with marking out my previous day high and previous day low, as well as previous day EQ. Um, Now I kind of went over this last night a little bit in my review and analysis. But for me, because there's a lot of rebalancing and manipulation on this candle here, normally I would take just the body, but because there really isn't much one, I've chosen to use previously EQ, including the entire candle body and wick, as opposed to here where we have more of a body. And so not only did I mark out this range, but I also chose to mark out EQ of this body because I've been wanting to see how price responds at those levels. And then over here on YM, same thing, high and low, right? Also take into account where price is currently at, right? And we can see here that we are sitting inside of this OB, right? And then furthermore, I want to be monitoring EQ of this OB, right? Because that's a level in which price is being sensitive. And so that's where I've marked out my levels. Okay, like so. And that's really how I keep it simple on the dailies time frame. Um, my anticipation for Thursday was for today was that we would see some sort of reversal and new phase of price. Now, the reason I thought that and I believe that is because, in my opinion, as we read order flow here, we can see that this candle, right, opened low into this order block. Then we get the soup and then we begin to expand, right? And we know that range to range is soup to soup. So if I'm looking for a reversal inside of this PD array, which is a daily SIBI, right, then I would want to find that range. And for me, I was choosing to use this anchor as the last manipulated low, right? And then I drag to previous day high here, right? And you can see this is where EQ lands. So I marked it as my as my daily rebalance point. And you can also see that we do have another PD array located at EQ of the previous range, which is this daily BISI. So I go ahead and mark that out on all time frames, and you can see I went ahead and did that here. Now ES is a little more confusing because obviously the anchor point is different, but the same logic applies. This obviously was just filling in this inefficiency. Um, okay, wait, I anchored the wrong one. I apologize. Wait, hold on. Oops. There we go. And it's this one here. There we go. So same thing, rebalance point, daily rebalance point. Okay, why? Because moving into the overnight session, I'm anticipating a potential open high, right? So that this would end up being the manipulated high or the last range high, right? So that's how I've drawn that out. And then all I do is I go down to the 4 hour and I look for key levels, right? Oops, we can see here that this, let's go back to here. There we go. Oops. So back to, it doesn't matter, but so this is what I was looking at last night. Um, we can see here on the 4 hour. Okay, now we have a better view of the range, right? The dealing range. Okay, so for me, this is our daily rebalance point, and for me, right, what do I notice? I notice that we have this low, previous day low, right, resting right above uh, this PD array, and furthermore, right below discount, we have another unmanipulated low, right, in discount of this range, right? So this begins my key level, right? And you can see here also the same thing is happening, right? On ES, right? We have a daily rebalance point, previous day low, and then we have an unmanipulated row right below that. Okay. And if you look on the 15, you can even see that, right? We have these two unmanipulated lows, as in low resistance liquidity, resting right at EQ. So that was why I had drawn out those levels, right? And also here with YM, we have this key level, right, up here for a rebalance point, and so that's what I wanted to be paying attention to going into this morning. Okay, so let's just now switch over to our actual chart. The trading chart, where is it? It's going to be this one. Yep. Okay. And then we can get into how the morning played out, what I was looking at, and how the trade worked out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and scoot ahead here. What time is this? 6 a.m. Might be a little too fast. Okay. So the first thing that I want to pay attention to here, okay, is that we had SMT prior to coming into this morning, right? We had SMT here. All right. Boop, boop, boop. SMT. Okay. And then we end up creating another SMT here, you'll see. Um, at right here. Boom. We end up creating another SMT here. At what time? 8:30, right? Okay. Now, why is that important? Obviously, if we're looking for shorts, right, we have SMT at the highs. Do we have a change in state of delivery prior to market open? So I'm watching here, right? What? Oh, yeah, here's 9 o'clock. Okay. And you can see here that I'm looking to see if we're going to get a change in state of delivery. We currently have one here and here and here, right? But I want to know, what is 9:30 going to do, right? So let's go ahead and come over here. So I'm already anticipating shorts, right? So, and because of the GXT model, right, we know if we have a change in state of delivery prior to market open or prior to drivers, right, it's driver continuation. So here's 15. Okay, now this is why, look, 15 prints the CSD right here, right? We have this up close candle that gets closed below. Here's the CSD, right? Right, 9 o'clock closes below 8:30. Now we have an order block, right? Now we have this OB. We can measure out EQ of the OB. We have two-stage SMT, and now we just wait for market open, right? Wait for market open and we watch. So this is all I did was we wait for 9:30, okay? 28 right here. Whoops, went way too fast. Slow the sucker down. Okay, so now we can watch price here. Okay, so what happens at 30? 30 opens, right? And it rebalances back to this OB, right? Because we already have the change in state of delivery, market does not need to go higher, it just needs to rebalance, right? So it rebalances here, right? And this is where we can get in. Obviously, it would go up there, right? But I'm just showing you that. So I ended up entering on, if I can play it, it'll go 32. Let me see, where is it? 31 close. Yeah, so I ended up entering here. And I was in micros, and then I wanted to see previous day low, and in my live session and tape reading, I end up scaling out everything down here, and then I end up getting off, but I let a runner run down here, and then obviously we end up running all the way. I'll play it right now to just beautifully. You can see here, right, all the way down to where to our key level, right, which you can see. We get over here. Boom, right? Perfect trade. Close it there, right? That was trade, right? Perfect setup today, 9:30. Why? Because we had the narrative and the higher time frame bias from before, right? Giving us clear direction and conviction for this trade, right? Because of the two-stage SMT, you know, we already have the CSD. We know it's just driver continuation. I don't know why it's like frozen right now. But anyways, so that was today's trade. Super nice. I mean, great market maker model here. I mean, I don't really like look at that anymore. I don't really think of ICT structure like that. I'm strictly paying attention to time now, and ranges. But again, right, really nice setup. And then we just continue lower, you know, and then we just fall down. Right. So nice. Any other day, 10 o'clock continuation, opens low, does not need to rebalance, just continues to flush. Um, you know, hold for longer next time. That's the only takeaway I have. But you know what? The reality is like this is what I anticipated. I didn't get 200 points. I think I got 251. but not full contracts, just even with the runner. But still, great trade, great day. And that's it.